I've been working with the test cases with Sina that there was some changes in the get and other places that we needed to fix, and now those are fixed and the tests are running again. That's my updates. I don't know if Sina has anything.
So yeah, I mean, apart from what you mentioned, Kilari, and I can also share that Geth merged my PR for fixing the parent block hashes. So hoping that will fix some of the test cases.
For me, I need to sync with Deep Tanstru, but didn't manage due to time differences on the tracing PR. But I think it looks all right. It needs some polishing, but it's like should be good to experiment with. If you, Kilari, want to check how it works.
Yeah, I noticed from the documentation that how it's being called is quite different from Eth Simulate. I think it would be preferred if it would be kind of as similar as Eth Simulate, kind of input and output as possible, except with added kind of tracing stuff. Is there some serverware which I can use, or do I need to? I guess I should install Nethermind to check it.
No, we don't have a server with it. No, sorry.
Can you share the PR?
Yeah. Let me find the PR.
And I guess Sina should take a look at that as well, if that's something that looks good or not.
Yeah, I think once we have kind of the design doc updated, then happy to look again.
I shared it in the Telegram.
Okay. For tracing for ETH call, I guess the Get and Nethermind are somewhat aligned on what it looks like. Or is the specs for that very different?
Yeah, it calls should be similar. Might be some minor differences, especially on error codes. Maybe not error code, but messages codes should be the same.
That sounds good. Have we decided what to do with the gas estimation stuff? That's something I think still is open discussion. What should we do there?
Didn't we have a tentative agreement from last meeting? I don't remember exactly what it was, but
we had a set of options that we said we would think about.
Okay.
I'll find it.
And I guess everyone spent the whole week thinking about those things.
Certainly. Okay. Those were the. Oh, that's not great.
And did we agree that we make a V2 version with this support, or something else?
That sounds good to me.
Should we vote on those options then? What should we do? I think Sina wanted the global gas flag, and then Micah was against that last time.
Yeah, I feel like at least Interceptor, we have use cases where we do not want that, right? Or you argued, I guess, Kilari, that we have use cases very close to not where it's bad, but in actual, our use case would have problems with that, right? We'd be way overestimating.
Overestimating on what case? At the moment, we make multiple calls, but yeah, if you could just estimate one of the transactions, well, you could estimate one transaction and overestimate a lot on those where we are checking balances and that kind of stuff. So I think it would work in the Interceptor, and we wouldn't need to estimate those stuff. So I think in Interceptor, it would be always enough to just estimate one transaction.
Right, exactly. If there was a global fag, that would be problematic for us because we never want to estimate anything except for the top transaction in the stack.
Right, but we could always set the maximum gas limit for that, for the other stuff.
Or from the previous run, set the gas used value.
So are we assuming that? I see. So if you provide any gas limit, then it would not run the estimate. Like there's no way to run the estimate with the starting gas.
I think it would only do the estimation for those where the gas limit is missing. Otherwise, it's using the user-provided gas limit.
I see.
But if it would estimate all the transactions, then I don't think that would be a good idea at all. I think you still need to be somehow way to pick which you want to be estimated and which are not. One way of doing is that you just give gas limit to everything else that is not estimated. I think the Sina's idea was that if that flag is set, then it changes the behavior of what does it mean that the gas limit is missing. At the moment, we have that kind of logic how the gas limit is estimated if it's not set.
Yeah.
And that flag would never change that behavior. But yeah, I don't know if there's some other use cases. It would be nice to get feedback from other users as well. Has Sina reached Infron or those other providers? I think they would also have some preference on this. Last time we had one person from there, but he didn't seem to have that much opinion in either way.
Mm.
And I think this success of the gas limit estimation came from those other providers. This Interceptor works even without it, but it's not perfect, but it works. But other providers, they were more preferable that they want some option for this.
Okay, so let's do it this way then. I mean, we can together, Kilari, write a short doc with the current proposal, whatever it is. Like, let's just agree on one and then take it to them. I think it's easier this way, and then they can complain if there's something they don't like.
Yeah,
That is the best way to get things done.
I think they're better that we make an implementation than they complain that it's wrong. And that takes longer.
Yeah.
But which of those suggestions should be made? I don't know if Nethermind has any preference on how it should work. I would like it so that you could always specify which transaction you're estimating and which are not. I guess that's the second last option, which I would prefer. Well, what does it mean max gas estimate is gas limit? You mean that you set gas limit and then the estimation, then it's always would never spend more than the gas limit?
Yes, it would do an estimate with the starting number being the max, or being whatever you set the gas limit to.
Oh, but then the estimate could end up being whatever.
Yeah, so it would still try to estimate it, but it would refuse to go over whatever you set for gas limit. And so the way the bisecting would work is it would first start out by running a transaction with the gas limit, and if it fails, it's done. Doesn't even try it again. If it succeeds and returns anything less than gas limit in terms of gas used, then it will rerun with that lower amount.
But I guess that's very different from how it behaves in ETH core and on those other methods as well.
Yes, I don't think estimate gas. I think estimate gas just ignores the gas limit field entirely. Not actually sure about that.
I think that's quite confusing for the user because you cannot in a way know if it's helping or not. Or why would you set the gas limit to some max value?
I mean, you might have a rough idea about how much a transaction is expected to cost, and so you provide that. And it decreases the amount of bisecting you have to do in order to hit a target, so it's cheaper.
But it's still hard for the app developer to know if it's helping or not.
I mean, it's helping as much as if you get back a number that is lower, then it is helping, and the amount it's helping is the difference between the number you suggested and the number you get back.
Yeah. I guess that it would be somewhat confusing that you can get quite wide range of values depending on which, if you just recreate the gas limit by one gas, then you can get a widely different result.
If you set the gas limit to one gas, you're going to get a failure.
One gas lower than some other value, and the returned gas can be very different if the transaction is behaving weirdly.
No, you're saying you might need to bisect. Oh no, but you get one gas less, you're done bisecting because you have no way to bisect anymore. And so you run it once, You get
that-
the
that-
gas used, you run it again, and you're done.
You assume that the function is smooth and it's behaving kind of nicely, and not that
Yeah.
there's some kind of weird
In the-
behavior.
I'm saying in the very specific case that you're referring to, where you set a gas limit to 100,000 and you get back a gas used of 99,999, you're done
Oh,
at that
no.
point because you cannot bisect anymore.
I mean, you estimate with 100,000, and then you estimate it with 99,999, and those can result in very different kind of estimations.
Oh, sure. I mean, we still have the same problem as estimate guess always has, which is
Yeah.
the best you can do is bisect and hope that the user didn't do anything, or the developer didn't do anything stupid.
Yeah. I think I would go with the second option.
So just you pass the flag, and if you pass both, you just get an error. Nice and simple.
Yeah. And that flag is for each transaction, not global.
What was your reason for disliking that one, Sina? Is it just the way Geth is architected? It's easier to do a global flag.
I just find it conceptually simpler. And well, I don't think that the other options are particularly harder, but it does make it a bit easier if we have the global flag. Yeah.
I mean, I think even with a global flag, you still have to decide whether to estimate gas on a per transaction basis, right?
Yes.
Because if the transaction has a gas limit set, so you still have to do per transaction gas estimation. It's just a question of where does the flag live? Does the flag live outside, or is the flag? I guess is the flag, do we estimate gas, a combination of a Boolean on the block plus a number or the presence of a field on the transaction, or is it just dependent on a Boolean on a block, or sorry, a Boolean on the transaction? I suspect because of that, the second one is the simplest to implement, but that may be negligible compared to the other reasons for choosing one, like conceptually simpler. I would not be offended by either number 2 or the last one.
Yeah. Same.
Is that because you are sick?
Yes. If I was feeling better, I would be very offended by one of those. I don't know which, though.
We can write some documentation with Sina about those and then try to propose to the other people.
Then let's take these two as leading options, and yeah.
I think there's someone in our Telegram that is or was using Eth Simulate in like a library. Maybe we can run it by them because they're actually implementing something, I think. Do you know who that I'm talking about, Kalari?
No.
Maybe it was somewhere in Discord. You and I and this person had a conversation about they were doing simulation type stuff in some library or
Was it in the Telegram? Couple of
CLI
weeks ago.
tool. Yeah, it was a few weeks ago, maybe. And I'm trying to think of people who may have an opinion and thoughts on design.
Anything else?
Not from me.
Yep, same.
Okay, talk to you next week then.
Yep, talk to you guys next week.
See you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you.
Thanks. Bye.